Welcome to Starlight Talks. Today I'm with special guest Patty. That's what I call her. Sonia Baraha. So she's here, and we're gonna talk about childhood stories. I do this live stream called Starlight Talks every Wednesday at 7:00. So come back next week. I'll be doing another one. Please check out our website, OurTism.com. On the website, you will see my blog where I write about living with autism, and you can see all the things that autism provides, such as support groups. Tomorrow we have the caregiver support group at 7:00, and next Thursday we'll have the Asperger profile support group for adults on the spectrum. And we also have Life Map, which is a very useful tool for those of us on the spectrum. It helps us meet our goals. I'm one of the clients of that, and I've been actually working through that, planning my birthday party, and it's helping me break down those steps into things that I find achievable each week. And we talk about why I didn't achieve my goals that week or why I did and what I want to work on next. And you can work on something as big as I want a job, or I want to go to college, or as small as I want to learn how to cook a meal by the end of the week. So it's a really great tool. Check out Life Map. This week on Starlight Talk, we're going to be talking about childhood stories here with Patty. So if you have any questions, start leaving them in the comments, and we'll get to as many as we can. So I want to introduce Patty to you guys. To me, she's been with me since I was pretty little. She's the housekeeper and my babysitter, and she's taking care of me over weekends when my parents couldn't. So she's seen me as I went through the diagnosis of autism, and she was able to help me through a lot of situations that she's told me helped her learn a lot how to take care of her own kids, which has been really cool. So we're going to talk about stuff that we went through together. I'm really excited to share with you guys. So if you guys have any questions about children on the spectrum, childhood stories, or problems they're dealing with, please leave them in the comments. And we'd love to get to those by the end of the talk. So let's start with, do you have any stories that you remember from when I was little that you want to share?
I remember one specifically. You were in maybe 3rd grade, and I remember it was a PJ day. It turns out it was about maybe the first days that I started working with you guys. The phone rang, and it was you. Your dad had forgotten to pick you up from school, so you were crying. You came home hours later. You were a mess, and nobody was able to calm you down. Obviously, I didn't know how to approach you, how to make you feel better, because I really didn't know you well. So everyone came and tried to comfort you, and you were just such a mess that I remember just going to you and asking you, do you feel like eating something? Maybe it would help you. Do you want a tea? Because even back then, you were such a tea person. And I remember you asking me for a grilled cheese sandwich, no edges. So I remember I went and I did it for you. And you were just looking at me like, who are you? Why are you coming near me like this? I mean, it was hard, but I don't know why it stuck to me. And I remember that. And when I see you through your hard times, I always remember that, the one specific time. I don't know if it's because I had just met you, because your attitude, the way you were in so much distress. I mean, I get you were a baby, you were a kid, so it was hard for you to have your parents forget to pick you up from school. So yeah, that's one thing that I remember just out of nowhere. And I remember it a lot actually.
Hi Lillian, thanks for joining. If anybody has any questions, we'll get to them. Yeah, I remember that as a little kid, time was so different. So when I was being picked up, like time, like to me, like minutes fly by so fast now. But when you're little, like time really stretches out. So like those 5 minutes could feel like forever. And I think it's because like when you're little, you haven't lived as long, and so like you can be really impatient. You're not like used to all that time that when you're older. So like it's been explained to me that like when you're 2, a year is half of your life. Where now that I'm 20, it's like a 20th of my life. And so time really does look different when you look at it that way. So little kids do experience time differently than us. So that was 5 minutes for someone is like, and I believe it's much longer than that I waited. But like it can really be really scary and to not know what to do and to be in a panic, going, oh, my parents forgot me. And so it's really important that my parents be on time to pick me up. And it was really scary for me when my parents forgot. And I ended up being able to figure it out most of the time. But what was really strange to me is like I would be crying, and looking back, like a crying child, I would feel like, especially at an elementary school where everyone has kids, like someone would approach that child and be like, hey, what's wrong? But I remember so many parents and peers of mine just walking past me and leaving and not doing anything. And most of the time, I actually had to approach an adult and say, hey, can I borrow a phone? And I get like, if you're like at a bus station or something, it's kind of different because like you could be seen as a predator or something. But it's like at a school where like everyone's a parent and there's teachers and there's all different things going on. And then the teachers would leave so fast. So I'd go back to the classroom, the teacher wouldn't be there. And then I would be like so lost in what to do and go into a panic. And that was like such a scary moment. And so like even when I was then at home, it was just like I couldn't get rid of that feeling. And what really helped me was later on with dealing with emotions that strong is that being with it, that Danny Rady taught me about really just letting that emotion happen, feeling it, knowing it's temporary and letting it pass, and then reframing and going, okay, I know this this state of mind is just temporary, and like actually changing that state of mind and going, okay, well, it's super overwhelming right now, but it won't be forever, and I know I can do little things to change it, and that sort of thing where you reframe that situation as something better. But like as a kid, and especially not knowing I had autism, and I think one of the big things too is like that transition where like school was very overwhelming and I really, really, really wanted to get home, and then I wasn't able to. And so a lot of times I did even melt down at home, but I couldn't even get home to melt down. And so I just like exploded there in front of the school and just didn't know what to do because I just wanted to be in my room and be comforted and feel better. And that sort of stayed with me as I went home. I know that you've been with me through like a bunch of meltdowns. Like I had a lot of them.
There was a lot of them.
And you were pretty good because I did take a lot out of my parents, and it was easier not to be as mad at you as it was to be at my parents sometimes. Um, yeah, I just mentioned that we didn't know I had autism. We got some people joining us. Hi, Yara. I hope I'm saying your name right. Yara. Hi, Grandma. Hi, Sue. Thank you guys for joining. We're talking about some childhood stories with Patty. So we're specifically right now talking about meltdowns. And you were really good at saying things that really calmed me down. Like you spoke like in a nice tone of voice that like wasn't like the mom voice.
Well, see, that's where I think I not that I didn't feel I had a right to be like to give you that tone of voice. It was more like I saw your parents doing their part, giving you that tone.
Yeah.
So it didn't help you, and obviously we didn't know your situation, that you know it was before you were diagnosed, so we had no clue. I had no clue, obviously. Well, for you guys that don't know me, I have kids on my own, and I have now she's 18, so she's younger than her, but you know she was probably I don't know 5 when I had them, when I started working with them. So my kids' meltdowns were different than Chloe's. So I was able to actually give Chloe a different approach. It was like, okay, I give my kids this approach. Their parents are giving it to her. So she doesn't need that from me. She needs me to go and be nicer, I guess you can say, and give her more of a calm voice so that she can feel that someone's treating her differently from her parents, because she didn't need to have that not rude but harsh tone that you need to get up and do this. She needed, you need to get up. Why don't we get up? Or why don't I help you, for example, clean your room? And I wouldn't tell her you have to do it. I would tell her this is why we need to do it. This is how I would go to her. I wouldn't
and
go.
You even came in something, you're like, you know what, your mom needs you to clean your room. I know you don't want to.
Yeah,
it'll just make her happy, and I'll help you.
Yeah, and I would give you, and you know what? It's nicer if you do it, and this is the reason we need to do it. And I think I sometimes still give you that. I mean, not that I try to baby her, but she has her mom, and I feel like sometimes now that you know I still give it to her. I can't get out of the way I treated her before when she was a baby. Not that I'm still babying her, but she sometimes needs a different approach.
No, I feel like obviously like you never baby me. You almost treated me like equal always, and that
maybe
was really important because I feel like more of that like you need to do it and you need to do it now is more like you're lower than me, and so we're like you talk to me like an equal. Like we're gonna do this together. We'll figure it out. Like all of that kind of stuff is like the way you spoke to me. And so, and then you could even be like, it felt like you could almost be objective because you like didn't have like anything personal involved in those tensions where like me and my mom would be in a fight and you could come in and be like, you could say something that I or my mom couldn't. And you're just like, you know what, you're being ridiculous, or you know, your mom's being ridiculous.
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, I remember doing that a lot where I was like, just don't listen to your mom. Let me talk to you and let's do this my way. And it would help. It would help and
at least help me to calm down before I then had a conversation with my mom.
Yeah, because going back, I think that's what I wanted to do. I wanted you to calm down, and I don't want you to like if you were in a meltdown because you didn't get to eat pizza or a sandwich that you wanted. Obviously, I wanted you to eat. And I never saw it like part of my job maybe because I had kids on my own. So I would want whoever was taking care of my kids doing their having my kids eat. So if they were crying and if she was crying, I wasn't gonna get her to eat. She was gonna keep crying. So I wanted her to calm down, and then I would talk to her and I would try to do things with her, things that she needed to do. Sometimes it was her homework. Sometimes it was just, like we've mentioned a lot, cleaning her room, because that's where most of the troubles were.
Yeah.
Just keeping her room clean or organize it, or even helping me organize it the way she wanted it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, I thought it was a smart thing to do. And like I said, I never saw it like a job. So it was actually paying attention to her and actually seeing what she needed, not just what I wanted to have done because I had to take care of my job. It was like, okay, I have to clean this room, but she wants it in a certain way. So let's do it together. And it would help.
Yeah. It was super
Most of
helpful.
the time.
So does anybody have any questions? We'd love to get some in the comments to answer. Let's see. We okay, stuck right now.
Well, you've got a couple people to say hi to.
Oh, hi Darren and hi Vin.
It's Vince.
Oh, it's Vince.
It's Vincenzo, but it's Vince.
There's a glare right there.
Yeah,
I just
you
saw
know that.
Vince.
I was trying to
Hi,
read it too,
Vince.
and I was like, okay, I can't.
We're talking about childhood stories on the spectrum with Patty. So with what do you think of the time when I was getting my diagnosis? That's when I was 16.
Okay, when you were getting it, I wasn't sure like what to think of because I had never been around kids or anyone that had autism. I know I have a cousin. He's little and I really don't see him much. So I was clueless. I seriously didn't even know like a lot. I didn't know a lot about it. So in the beginning, I was like, really? Do they have something going on? Like, it doesn't seem like it. I think it's just that, you know, they're just not that they were spoiled, but they pretty much had an easier life. So, kind of, it was like a doubt, like, I don't know. It was just something that I was gonna face with you guys, and I would guess I was kind of scared what the outcome would be, because I didn't know if I had to be like trained and like to actually work with you guys, if I needed some sort of to learn something special to be able to like actually like be able to help you guys, because I mean I didn't know anything about it. And when your mom actually came and told me about it, I looked at her and I was like, okay, what does this mean? Are they gonna have someone else to help them? Am I gonna be like somehow like put to the side because I'm not prepared for this? But then she told me, well, we're gonna learn together. It's something new for us, so we're gonna learn together. And I mean, I don't feel like much change. Like I don't feel like the way I spoke to you guys, or the way I act with you guys changed. I don't think it did. It's just that I had to learn to have more patience, to be more patient with you guys. That's for sure. And I mean, I am glad, and I would have wished it happened before. But I mean, things happen for a reason, and I'm glad you guys were able to actually know what was going on.
That's a really good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I seriously, I had no clue about it. Like I said, I have a little cousin, and now his little brother is been diagnosed. So
I think one of the biggest things that like you and my parents did and a lot of people around me did is like instead of listening to like what you were supposed to do, you guys focused on what worked. So if like something didn't work, you didn't like continue doing it.
yeah,
Even if like it felt like everyone was like, this is how you're supposed to deal with a child and this is what they're supposed to be doing right now. You're like, well, that's not working, so let's try something else. And I think that was really beneficial to me because you let me be me, you let me be autistic, you let me be different. That which is like how I'm able to function so much is because like these. I mean, you didn't let me like do things that were harmful, but like, but just because like I didn't do it the same way as everyone else, you weren't like upset about it. If it took a little bit longer, like okay, we'll just have more patience. And that sort of thing, which was super helpful to me.
the way now that you mentioned that, like I think for me, like not pushing to do a task a certain way, um, it was. I felt like not that we're getting through the task an easier way, but just there's got to be a way that's going to work for you, and that's going to work for everybody around you. So if I'm going to tell you to do something and if it's not working, we have to get it done regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So why not find another solution that's going to help you, and it's going to help you learn to do it on your own.
Judy says, how did hormones, puberty affect you as someone with autism? So I was one of the first of my friends to go through that, and I was definitely the first of my siblings. I'm a twin, and my sister didn't go through it till much later because she was held up developmentally and physically due to being sick. And so I had it like around my 12th birthday. I had, and I remember I had straight hair before, and then afterward I had curly hair, and I didn't know how to take care of curly hair, and I didn't know that it was different. So I had like this big frizzy hair, and I didn't know what was wrong with my hair. It was always a mess. And that was a really rough time in my life. I have a whole live stream that I did with my teacher who I had all through middle school. His name's Adam Walsh, and it's called The Road to Excellence. Check out that talk to see more about that. And I was misdiagnosed at that time with ADD and OCD. Because in 6th grade, after leaving the elementary school, I ended up starting to fail my classes, and I didn't know why because I was doing the same thing I always had. And but I ended up having to teach myself because in elementary school, I really didn't need to learn. I already knew this stuff. So like getting an A was pretty simple for me. Where like in middle school, it was stuff I didn't know how to teach myself. It got too challenging. And so my grades really dropped. And I ended up switching schools for that reason. And I found a program that helped me out, luckily, and I was in a program that taught me how to use my LD to my strength. But I didn't know how to deal with my period and with that sort of stuff. I had like these strange mood swings. Like I remember coming home from school and I was obsessed with Disneyland. I remember every day coming home asking, can I go to Disneyland? I sort of, it's like a joke. And the answer was always no. And this one day I asked and my mom said no. And I just like broke down crying and I didn't know why. And then I started laughing because it was so ridiculous. So I was laughing and crying. And then my sister came in and was like, what is happening? Is she laughing or crying? And I was like, I don't know. And that was like my first experience with mood swings. And that happened so often. And then I also had like this huge fear of blood. I still do. And so that was terrible. And so I went to like so many different people who try to give me ways of dealing with that. Like I would wrap it in tissue paper. I had like these little brown bags with me I was supposed to put them in. It was just like my stomach would knot up and I'd get nauseous and it was just not fun. But really most of those issues came from defense mode. And so like once I got out of that state of mind, a lot of those things lessened. And defense mode is a state of mind that I think happens to like everyone around the age of 11, 12, 13, where you go into this defensive state where you believe the entire world's against you. And there's like this point where I think kids want to grow up and parents get like so afraid of their kid growing up that they like hold on tighter. And so there's this like push and pull that happens where like the parents and the child are fighting each other, where they like you want more freedom but you end up with more restrictions. And then there's like the projecting of fears where like my mom would say things to me that like I hadn't even thought of that would then put fears in my mind and then make me believe that my mom was embarrassed of me because she would say like, oh, are you sure you want to wear that to school? People might say something. And no one ever said anything. So it just felt like my mom was not approving of what I wore and what I did and what I said. And so we really butted heads a lot. Until I was able to explain to her, like, it really hurts my feelings when you say those things. And it's something she really works on now, is not projecting those fears. And that helps a lot when she just goes, you know what, you look nice today. Have a nice day. It's so much better than when she would be like, are you sure you want to wear that? And so on top of like all these new emotions and hormones and everything, I was also dealing with not knowing I had autism and all of these things that my parents were putting on me. And then I go to school and I'd try to turn in my work and not know where it was. And he's just like, why didn't you do work? And like, well, I worked really, really hard on it. And like, but there's no proof. And then I would be called lazy. And it was like this vicious cycle of like where I felt attacked all the time. And so I would get really angry. And I was like in this constant state of anger and was really defensive. Even when people would like saying really nice things, I was able to warp that into something mean. And so,
or you would give that look.
Like, yeah.
What?
What did you say to me? I was just so mad that I didn't even know I was mad anymore. Like it was just so normal. Constant. Like it was
something normal for you.
Yeah. I was so mad all the time. And so getting out of that state of mind, it took a really long time to do that, but getting out of that state of mind just fixed so many problems. I have an Aspie who is experiencing some rough emotional times, and I'd love to know how to help her. please check out Asperger Experts Defense Mode. I'm pretty sure that is what they're going through. And then on my website, OurTism.com, check out the blog. I have stuff about tantrums and about dealing with parents and like all the stuff about what it feels like for your child to be going through that. But like Danny Rady has answers about the parent side of what to do, which is amazing. Yeah, puberty is nasty.
Not fun.
It's not fun. A lot of things change, and dealing with like your body gets out of control. You don't know how to help it. Like hygiene is so sensory extreme. Yeah. I still hate everything to do with hygiene because it's just touch and smell and sound and everything is awful. There's something called spoon theory that you should also look into. That is amazing. That will explain like everyone has a certain amount of energy, and the units measured in that are spoons. And so let's say the normal person has 10 spoons. Someone with autism will have 5 spoons, and they'll actually have to spend more spoons on more things because things are harder. And then in defense mode, you spend even more. So like, and things like going to the bathroom, taking a shower, these simple things you have to spend spoons on. So if you spend the whole day and you have no more spoons, at the end of the day, you're supposed to take a shower, you're supposed to eat, or you're supposed to do something and you need spoons to do that, and you run out, you can't do it. You literally don't have the capability of doing that. And if you're working with someone like that and telling them you need a shower, and you're fighting with them, you're just going to keep butting heads.
It's not going to work.
Yeah. So you need to find a way, and there are ways that you can get more spoons throughout the day. So you can do things that help yourself, such as massages, self-care, exercising, just things like that. And you can actually collect more spoons that you can spend more of. And then there's also the theory that you can take spoons from tomorrow and spend them today, but then you'll have less spoons tomorrow. So over time, if you keep doing that, you'll run out of spoons and have what's called an autism meltdown, or shutdown, and that will last even longer to recharge and get all of those spoons back. So you might be running into that problem. So there's a lot of issues that could come up, or you might be dealing with all of them at once. You probably are. If they're 13, you're going through puberty.
Yeah.
Do you remember dealing with my puberty age self? Do you have stories about that?
I think what I find that was very difficult for you, of course, but for us, your parents and me, was hygiene, where we couldn't come to you and say, okay, your hair looks a lot like it really needs to be taken care of. You need to wash your hair. And like she mentioned, she would like just give us like, no, I like it like this.
Yeah.
And I remember telling her, Chloe, but how can you like your hair like that? Your hair can look prettier in a ponytail if you just comb it. So I remember I told her, why don't you like combing your hair? It hurts and it just bugs me and it's a lot of pulling and I just don't like it. I like it like this. And she would like come out her room with a head this big, knots everywhere. And I remember doing something with her that I would do with my daughter, which was just putting oil in her hair, which was coconut oil. Sometimes I would even put olive oil. And I would come to her and, can I do something I do with my daughter? Because she has really curly hair. So I would put oil in her hair and then I just start combing it softly. And it would take me a long time, but I was there doing it because I wanted her to look nice going to school. or just going to a family gathering or a party or wherever she was going. So I would take my time. And I remember it just got into a habit for a while where her mom couldn't do it. And she wouldn't do it for the weekend. She would wait for me for Monday to come. And if I was able to do it in the morning, it was perfect. But most of the time I couldn't because she would go to school before I came to their house. So I would do it after school. So it was just one thing to do Monday before I left to work, to my house. So if she came 15 minutes later, I had to wait because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it on Tuesday morning. So I wanted her to have nice hair. So that went on for a while. And after that, like when I was on it, like I guess she got in the habit of saying, Patty, can you do it? Or Patty, I'm going to take a bath. Can you please do my hair after? And then her mom started doing it. So it just became a habit, something she had to do. But because someone took the first step in telling her, okay, let's try this. So I remember that part of it.
Yeah, when you offered something that was a solution that wasn't painful, and you're like, well, you don't have to do it. You just have to sit there and I'll do it. You can read your book or watch a movie or whatever, and I'll just.
And you were always reading a book.
It was like so simple. Like, well, you can't say no to that.
Yeah.
And so like that made it easy, the first step, and so like then it was easier to like then be like, okay, Patty, can you do it today? Yeah. And when you're already willing to do it, when I was like, no, don't touch me.
No, even then when you were like, no, I was like, please.
Yeah.
Like I kind of begged you to do it. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
Me begging her to do her hair. But it's because I knew somehow we needed to get into a habit, into, okay, we got to do it. So if, okay, you got to do it, Chloe, it wasn't working. It was like, can we please do it? It was nicer.
And I think like you did like over the course of multiple days, like you like dropped it and then you came back the next day. So it wasn't like 3 hours of, can I do it? No,
it wasn't like that.
It was like 10 minutes a day or like something, or
not even 10 minutes.
Like,
but I did kind of gave her that, oh, please, can I do it?
Yeah.
You know, and maybe the third time I asked you, can I please do it? And I noticed like she wasn't up for it. I was like, okay, let me go back to whatever else I was doing. And there was days where I actually came back the same day and she was actually up for it. Mm-hmm. There was days where she was not going to let me do it. Even if I came 20 times, it was not going to happen. So I wasn't going to be begging her and getting her frustrated at that, that point. So I would just leave and come back maybe a day or two later until, like I said, we came into a habit or just the state of mind of she's got to do it, and herself knew already, I have to do it. And of course, she would go back to, I don't want to do it.
And I still, like, when I'm sick, I don't like to brush my hair. And when I'm, like, on my period, I brush my hair, like, so much less. And, like, but, like, when I am feeling well, like, now I'm able to brush my own hair and, like, do more of that stuff. And I know now, like, a lot of that has to do with mental health. So I take care of my body and my mind and make sure that I am in a good state. And I'm more aware of when I'm dropping out. Because I didn't even know I wasn't in a healthy state of mind. Where now I'm so aware of that. And I try it. Sometimes it takes time, but like I am aware when I've dropped out, and I try to get back. And then I'm able to do those things. So if I focus on, okay, get my mental health up, and then I can focus on like those goals that everyone else has for me. So if like I want to take a bath, and it's like, okay, I can even like do like prepare myself for like an hour bath and be like, okay, I'll just do it. I'll like sit here and build up my spoons and my mental health for this 1 hour taking a bath. But there's other times like when I'm sick or I have my period and I'm like, I can't do it this week. I'll do it next week. So just like being aware of that is super great.
The last question is a follow-up.
His grammar
It's out. There's one after grandma.
to Chloe found Patty, a loving, understanding, and always wanting to do what's best for Chloe and all the family. Oh, thanks, Grandma. Judy said, "Did part of you know you should do it, Chloe, but just couldn't?" I didn't. I do think I knew I should, and that it was probably healthier. And I knew, like, I don't know if I knew I couldn't, but like I knew there was something stopping me. It wasn't. I just felt like it wasn't important to me. Like, it didn't make sense that I couldn't take a bath, especially when I wasn't diagnosed. Like, that didn't. I was just like, I don't know why I don't want to, but I just don't want to. Where now I know that it's more of a can't. But at the time, I don't know if I knew it was I can't. I think I used those words, or I think I said I can't take a bath today. But I think it was more of like I don't want to.
I remember when you were supposed to take a bath, and I remember asking you, like, why don't you want to take a bath? You know, you need to take a bath. Why don't you want to take a bath? I remember asking you those questions, obviously before, like when she was younger and she wasn't diagnosed yet. But I would ask her those questions.
I do remember explaining to my mom, I don't like the sensation of being naked. I don't like the sensation of being cold, so especially getting right in or getting right out. There's like that cold, and so we put a heater in there, and we did all these things to try and help. And like someone would be standing there like with a towel ready to wrap around me, dry me off real quickly. My mom would be blow drying my hair, like and we did all these things, and like it would work for like maybe a week, and then I would just be like, nope. And we tried like different shampoos because I said I don't like the soap. I don't want to wash my hair every time. Okay, you can wash it every other time. Like, we did so many different things. We tried. My mom's like, you can use my bathtub. It's bigger. You don't have to shower. You can use. We tried so many different things, and it's like you can get so many tools, but it's not about the tools. It's really about like having the spoons, having the mental health, being out of defense mode, and knowing like what your sensory triggers are. And so if it's if it's touch, smell, smell is probably way easier to deal with because you can get different soaps and different things. But yeah, I definitely say that a lot of times when kids say I don't want to, I think they mean they can't. I think that those two get mixed up because one day you can be capable of something and the next day you're not. And so you're like, well, you did it yesterday. Why won't you do it today? It's like, no, I can't do it today.
Yeah.
Because there is that change, like especially like if you're in a negative mood or in like an unhealthy state of mind, it just like really affects. And when I was little, I was constipated a lot, and so I was in a lot of pain, and so that was like being sick all the time. And so that took a big toll on me. And I remember like complaining about back pain, and people would say to me, you're too young to have back pain. And I'm like, oh, so I don't have back pain? Like,
am I crazy?
And so then I was like, well, then I don't, if I'm not having back pain, like this is bad if this is normal. Like, so like things like that would really affect me when people said things, and then like I would stop complaining, but then I would still be in pain, but people wouldn't know. So I think there's also a lot of miscommunication with just things like that. I do think it's more of a can't rather than I will not, even if I'm using the words will not. um, I really don't think that, I hate the words manipulative describing a kid, or like defiant. Like, I don't think any kid's defiant just to be defiant. Like, they're not trying to get a reaction out of you. That's so absurd. Like, I would never want to just like make my mom angry for no reason. Like, there were times where I was like in pain or upset, and like I did want others to like understand how I felt, and but it was like I would maybe do that to my siblings, but like to my parents, like they're scary. Like, if I said no to my parents, there was a reason. And I really think that most kids, unless there's something off, they're not trying to get a reaction out of you. Like, their goal is not to make it a bad day for you. I think it's a form of communication um, to do those things. It's them saying, "I can't handle this," um, I, rather than I don't want to. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Jacqueline. Thank you guys for joining the talk. I'm here with Patty, and we're talking about childhood stories. We had a talk a while ago about how you took some of the lessons, like how you talked to me and dealt with things that you then applied to your own kids. Do you want to talk about that at all? It's okay if you don't want to share that.
No, it's
Online.
fine. I have, like I mentioned before, 18-year-old, and I have a 16-year-old. My 16-year-old, I always say she's my special kid. I don't mean it in a bad way.
Oh, I'm special.
Of course
So
you are.
I
No,
get it. It's a compliment.
Of course. No, she's she has to have like scheduled showers, even the way she does her homework. She's the tough one to be around, to deal with. So I remember us Hispanics is, we see a kid acting in certain ways. For example, not being able to say hi, not being able to go up to you and give you a hug if she's been asked to, or give me a hug, and she doesn't come to you and gives you a hug, which is tends to say, oh, she's disrespectful. So of course, when I started dealing with my daughter, that's the way I thought, and that's the way everyone else would say, oh, you need to work on your daughter. And that was if they actually came to me and told me anything. But hearing that they were talking behind you, like, oh my God, her daughter's so disrespectful. She doesn't even say hi. Oh my God, her daughter, like, did you see she couldn't even shake my hand? So, it would hurt me, but knowing how to deal with them helped me deal with her. It was like, please, honey, I know you don't mean it, in a bad way, but can you at least acknowledge they're in the room? You don't need to go up and give them a kiss or give them a hug. Just say hello. That's all you need to do. Wave hello. That's it. So, that's one thing. With attitudes, yeah, it was tough because, of course, I didn't have no one to help me with the rough part at my house. So I couldn't just give her the soft me. I had to give her, we got to do it. You need to get up and try to do this. So it kind of did help me seeing her mom dealing with her. And I hate the fact that I kept saying her mom. I would see Gail like approaching Chloe in a certain way. And so I would try that with my daughter. And okay, it wouldn't help the first time or the second time. And then I get frustrated. So I'd be like, okay, you deal with Chloe in a certain way. Why can't you deal with her now with like the way you deal with her? So not because she's your daughter, you're only gonna give her the heart you. You have to give her what you're giving Chloe. So I would go, okay, honey, we gotta do this, please. Can we please do this? So things like that. I kind of took from here and actually took them home and try to help my daughter. Dealing with school, getting up, it was always get up, you need to get up, until we told her, okay, what's going to work for you? What time's going to work for you? And, sticking to like a schedule. And that I noticed that would help her. Or like when she would come home, she wouldn't use the restroom at school. And if she sees this, she's going to be mad that I'm saying this, but sorry. So she would come and run into the restroom. We had one restroom, so it was like, okay, it's 3:00. Nobody goes into the restroom. And if someone was in there, she's going to knock and you got to get out because she has to use the restroom. Mm-hmm. And there was a time where she had to do homework in the restroom. She had to do it. And if for some reason someone else needed to use the restroom, she would come out, but she wouldn't go back to her homework. So, there was things that we had to work through. And like I said, going back, working with Chloe and trying to help her. And as I figured out how to help her, I was able to figure out and how to work with my daughter. So yeah, it actually did help me a lot. And one thing that actually helped me with was my oldest daughter was a bookworm. She was always reading. I remember there was a point where we would say, we're going to go eat breakfast. So she would get up super early and she would only throw a t-shirt on with her PJ bottoms, put on her tennis shoes and grab a book. And she literally would go wait for us outside reading her book. We're like, okay, so we're leaving. You're not ready. Yes, I'm ready. No, you're not dressed. And she was like, yeah, I'm dressed. Knowing Chloe, the way she would dress, helped me not to judge her, which is my daughter, on her dressing, because she would wear yellow, because she's a yellow person as well. She would wear her yellow shirt with her brown pants, red pants. I mean, just not matching. So to us, it was like, oh my God, Sam, like you need to dress nice. I'm feeling comfortable. Or put these pants on. I don't like how they feel. Going back to Chloe, sensory, like, the feeling of things. Okay, I would let her be herself. I learned not to push my kids into doing something just because I wanted certain things done. I learned to let them be, as long as obviously they weren't hurting themselves. I didn't let her hurt herself, so why would I, let my child get hurt? So just being comfortable in their own skin and their own way of doing things. We're all different. No one's the same. And just like how I said, I have a special one at home. She's not diagnosed, but I pick little things and I see her and I don't push. You gotta change those things because they're not hurting her and they're not hurting me. She's learning to deal with life and it's okay. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I've gone with you guys that of course they're periods. They came here first and then they visited my house. So, those things, of course, it helped me. And both my daughters, different ways of dealing with the period. So I had 2 here before, the ones in my house. So there's things that obviously, a lot of things that I deal here first and then I had to deal at my house. And they're different in a special way than what my daughters are, but there's things that I can actually take over there and actually, use, and they're useful for me.
Do we have any final questions before we wrap up? I'd love to answer them. Thank you for joining us this week. Thank you, Patty, for being the guest. Join us next week. We do these every week. Starlight Talks are at 7 o'clock every Wednesday. Don't forget to check out the website where you'll see more of my articles where I write about living on the spectrum. We have the parent support group tomorrow night. Check out the website for more information about that for the caregivers support group. And next week will be the adults on the spectrum support group. We also have Life Map. Please check out Life Map. I love Life Map. So, anybody have any questions before we leave? Do you have any final thoughts, Patty? It's okay if you don't.
No, I mean, it obviously has been a journey, and it's been an exciting one. It's never been boring, and I'm glad, you've managed and you're learning to be the person you really are and accepting yourself. And obviously, we all accept you and we all love you very, very much. And I know your parents are proud, and I'm proud as well.
I do have one question, but it's a load of.
Did you deal with anxiety? What tools do you use to help with that? I have an hour-long talk I did with Dara that you can check out. That is all about anxiety, if you want to check that out. But quick answer, being with it and reframing, super useful tool. So when I have anxiety, I recognize it as anxiety. I feel that, and I don't try to suppress it, and I let it pass, which is really hard to do at first, but gets easier. And then reframe, as this is not a realistic state of mind. This is an extreme state of mind. What I'm feeling and experiencing right now is not reality, and then to focus on reality and what that is. So if it's anxiety about doctors, this is just a feeling that it will pass. Like, doctors aren't as scary as I think they are. They're on my side. They're trying to help me. I'm going to get better when I go to the doctors, that sort of thing. So it's like a quick answer, but please go view my talk about anxiety if you want more information on that. We talked about it for so long. With someone diagnosed with anxiety called Dara Schweitzer. She's amazing. Thank you guys for watching. Please stay colorful. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.